going on around the world and our country lately. And I'm sure that we all know that the increment in this bad behavior, such as raping, abuse, bullying, abduction, and all sorts of violence is becoming terrifying. And hence, we think it needs an immediate action. Just within a week, our nation has recorded over 4 cases of rape and murder of innocent lives, not to talk of so many unrecorded ones. The statistics before me reveal that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys in Nigeria had experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. Another survey also reported that over 31.4% of girls said their first sexual encounter had been rape. In addition to this, the Center of Human Rights and Development reported in 2012 that 1,200 girls had been raped in Rivers State. I'm not saying all over Nigeria now, but I'm saying only in Rivers State. That was reported in 2012. So as a way of giving back to the society, our organization has decided to organize a self-defense workshop to enlighten the world on how to take charge of their own safety and of the family they cared so much about. And study has also shown to us that victims with pre-arousal training, or let me put it this way, that victims with self-defense education were less likely to be assaulted and more likely to resist if it happens. So finally, we strongly hope that the tips you are about to learn in this webinar will keep you and your family safe. Thank you. So now we'll be moving to guest introduction. Yeah. So, but before I go ahead to introducing our guests, I want to say this. Please feel free, as the workshop is ongoing, we want you to send in your questions using the chat room on the screen. Okay, so we want this webinar to be, or let me say, we want this workshop to be more interactive. So we will be so glad to have your questions. Thank you. So at this point, I want to introduce to you our official instructor and speaker of the day, in the person of Sensei Alfred Oyimai. Sensei Alfred Oyimai is a 7th-degree black belt karateka. He is the chief instructor of NASK. NASK means Nigerian Association of Shotokan Karate. He started his career in London in 1976, and he has over 40 years of experience in martial arts and over 25 years of experience teaching self-defense across the globe. He has competed in various championships, such as club, state, national, and so on, and national levels and so on. He spent most of his time coaching now. He has produced high-quality athletes in Nigeria. He has also taught in different organizations, or let me say in different government organizations, such as Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Airport Security, and as well as private organizations. Sensei Alfred Oyimai is no stranger to training of individual on effective self-defense. He is also a strong believer in constant personal development. He regularly travels to UK, Europe, US to train and improve on his technical level, teaching and coaching skills. He is a valuable karateka. He's a valuable karateka. He's a valuable resource person in karate, and he has facilitated training for international athletes in several countries. So, in this workshop, Sensei Alfred Oyimai will be sharing with us few tips that will help you and your family keep safe from aggressor. So now, welcome to the workshop, Sensei. You have the floor now.
Okay, thank you very much, Hidayat. Thank you, KARATEFOCUS, for all of your efforts and innovations in helping the expansion of NASC in particular and karate in general. I highly appreciate it, and I know NASC appreciates the work you're doing. We all know each other, so I'm not going to spend time talking about myself. I just know in general I have been blessed with karate, with this organization, and with the exposure that I've had to other instructors in different parts of the world. Also, coming specifically to this area, I think I've been blessed also with knowledge from some of the senseis that I've had in the past, Nigerian senseis and those from other countries who have had great interest in self-defense also. And I've been lucky because I've been teaching self-defense even as a subject for over 12 years now. I actually have a course, a year-long course that I do, and I've been doing it for many years, and it covers self-defense, or it is about self-defense. And therefore I'm lucky because I can keep on practicing it and doing more research on it. So we're going to go over self-defense, focusing a bit more on the females. This obviously is a very unique program because most of the time we're together in one hall and we talk a little bit and then we physically practice. But the physical part we won't be able to do really at this time. So what I've suggested is that we spend a bit of time talking for these sessions, and we believe hopefully that in some months to come, when all this thing settles down, we can gather ourselves and work out physically. Okay, so let's get straight to the issue at hand. Self-defense. I tell a lot of people when they think about self-defense, they immediately think of films like The Matrix, where they'll be shooting bullets and all of a sudden the person will jump and float in the air and bend and all the bullets will pass them by. And where you have this ability to walk into a group of troublemakers, and in a short amount of time, you are busy dusting your hands and all people are on the ground holding their stomachs and heads. And that is far, far, far from the truth. That is not the truth about self-defense. Self-defense in itself, if a situation comes where you have to use it, is an extremely fearful, scary situation. It is not pleasant. It is not something that at the end of it you'll be smiling and all comfortable. It is a very, very dreadful situation indeed. It is so bad that I say if you even get out of it physically without scars, then another thing you have to worry about is whether you get out of it emotionally and psychologically. Because very often people don't get out of it psychologically, and you find out for years in their life, they start acting in certain ways which the normal person in quotes will say, something is wrong with that man or that person is not normal. So it is not something that we take lightly at all, for men and for females as well, who on average may be slightly weaker or smaller physically in size to their attackers. Okay, I often tell people, I think there are some certain things we need to worry about first before we worry about technique. And I have discussed three basic principles of self-defense. Three basic principles, and I'm going to discuss them now. I strongly believe if you can abide by these principles, then the chance of you getting into a situation where you'll have to fight and physically defend yourself will be reduced. I believe reduced drastically. The first principle I'm going to talk about is the principle of avoidance. Avoidance. You have to avoid problem situations like you avoid a plague, like you avoid a bad plague. You can, that won't be difficult for you to understand, because at the moment we're going through a period of a plague of sorts. There is a virus going around now, COVID-19. You can see how a lot of people are taking special care. People are wearing face masks. People are watching cleanliness and hygiene in terms of hands. People are social distancing. Nobody really tells you that. People are not traveling anymore. You know, look, it's better I stay where I am and I stay in my house because it's safe that way. So if you can understand that, you can understand also the issue of problems, of avoiding problem situations, if I can put it that way. I tell people, I categorize in three different ways. You have to avoid people, places, and things. And I'm going to try and rush through these quickly. Number one, people. I'm a teacher, and I have been teaching for over 30 years. And very often I pass through the main office, the principal's office, and you will see a child sitting down outside the office. And when they sit down there, you know there's an issue because they should be in class that time. And when you ask the child, what's wrong, you will see the child looking very apologetic. And then the child will proceed to telling me what the reason why they're there. Most of the time, you will hear the child say, I was sitting down with so person. I was talking with this person, and that person was doing this, and I got in trouble. You'll find out that I say that if you look at a bomb, bombs are made out of certain chemicals. Chemicals on their own may be stable. On their own, if you can touch it, push it, it's okay. But once you take these two bombs, these two items, and you put them together, they become explosive. So you have to watch, and people have to watch the kind of people they hang out with. Excuse me, you might hear me talking funny because I had dental treatment yesterday. So now I'm hearing myself lisping a bit, but you can understand why. So you find out that hanging around certain people often puts us in trouble. Children know this, adults know this. You know, there are some certain friends of yours that when you hang around them and you talk with them, you start thinking of things that normally you wouldn't think of, or you start behaving in ways that you normally wouldn't. So it is for you to identify these people and give yourself space. I have mentioned, I used to tell kids, there is no gang member, no drug addict, no armed robber that was born that way. Everybody was born beautiful and cute. We did naming ceremony or they did naming ceremony for the person. Somewhere along the line, you now hear, and this person was introduced to this person. And that was the beginning of the problem. So pretty much you have to watch people. If you check the person out, you watch the way the person talks. Does that person, what he talks about, does it actually agree with you, with your spirit, with your being? The things that they dwell on, are those the things you dwell on? If you find out there's a difference, if you find out, if you follow this person's ways, then trouble may come. Then it's advisable to you that you change friends. I tell children that, look, somehow it's easier, in a sense, to get rid of certain people. Just form the habit of not hanging out with them. Always have excuses. By the time you say, oh, I have a homework to do today. I'm grounded by my parents. My boss kept me in the office. They come tomorrow, my boss again. After some time, you see that person will start to give you gap. In time to come, you find out, oh, it's just a person that you wave at, hi, and nod, and you go your way. So that's the first principle, part of the first principle. You have to avoid people. The next thing, you have to avoid places. Many years ago, I had to go with the national team to Havana, Cuba for training. We were going for about a month and a half. And I remember then in 2003, we were going on Monday. I ran to my office because that was the only place I had a computer. And I spent a good number of hours reading about Havana, Cuba. And I found out many things. I found out, for example, you could actually be arrested for giving a beggar money. You could be arrested by police. You find out that when you're going to a new place or you are in a new place, a good thing is to do research on that place. What are their laws? What is life like? Where are the good areas? Where are the bad areas? What is life like in the night? If you are somebody that likes nightlife and going out to parties, what's life like? What are the people like? What's the crime rate like? By doing research and finding out, you will know that there are certain places you can go to and certain places you should not go. Even as much as if you speak to people who don't know Nigeria well. I find out this when I travel. Sometimes when you travel and you go for a long period of time, a month, by the time you start hearing the stories of Nigeria, you'll even be afraid to come back. What's going on in my country? But a lot of the times when people talk like that, I tell them, yeah. If you go to a certain area, if you do some things, then yes, you'll be exposed to those problems. But if you stay in certain other places, then the chance of you meeting such problems will be less. So this is very, very important. You have to avoid places. Many years ago, when the Gulf War started, there were some terrible videos that were going on then online, where they were capturing Westerners and the Allies, and they were beheading them online. Now you tend to ask yourself, that's a terrible thing. But you ask yourself, where did they pick that person up? They didn't pick that person on the streets of Paris or Fifth Avenue in New York or Piccadilly Circus in London. They picked that person up in Iraq, which was the problem nation then, or the nation then that had the trouble. They picked them up there. So you now ask yourself, in a time of severe war and confusion, why were you there? Why were you there? If the person had not been there and had been in his home country, the chances of him being picked up and terrorized or executed would pretty much have been zero. So I'm hoping you understand that also. You have to avoid certain places. If you know some certain places are dangerous, if you know certain areas, they have lots of thieves and pickpockets, don't go there. Do not go. If you don't go there, the chance of you being harassed will be slim. If you know there are certain places where lots of hoodlums go in the night, then don't go out in the night. And don't go out to those places. If you follow these hints, then there is less chance of you being in that type of situation. Another issue of avoidance, as I said, is things. I remember being a teenager in my first year in university, and my father had an old car, which he wasn't using again because he had just gotten a new one. And I said to my dad, oh, great, you know, let me take this car and go to university with it. I was schooling in Oyo State then, Ife. And my father just, he has his way of not even talking to you about certain issues. And he just ignored me. Eventually, he gave that car to one young cousin of his, who obviously was older than me, was an adult. I was a teenager then. And I was pretty upset, thinking, oh, if this man loved me as a father, he should have given me the car. But it's obvious to me now that he had a greater love for me. And he realized that, yes, he loves me very much. And because he loves me, it's not everything that I ask for. It's not everything that I want that he gives me. Now, many of us here are parents, and you know your children want many things. But you yourselves are already teaching your children certain lessons in life. Yeah, I do love you dearly. You are my child. You are my son, my daughter. Because you are my son, daughter, I will, and you are the age you are, I will not give you this thing for now. Maybe in 10 years' time, I may feel you are right for this thing or right for this thing, and I will give you then. So we have to watch certain things. That's a very, very easy example. But coming to us as adults, how many times have we met certain people who are status-wise higher than we are, if I want to use that word, and they start to give you things all the time. Today they give you this, tomorrow they give you that. Tomorrow, oh, you wanted to buy your car, the person dashes you a large sum of money and say, take this. Okay, nice, you take this, thank you, you take that, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There'll be a day when that person may ask you for something. It may ask you for a favor. And you may now find that at that favor, you're not actually comfortable doing that thing for the person. And now all of a sudden you have a struggle within yourself. And that struggle is, this person has done so much for me. Now he's asking me to do this one thing, which could be criminal or something, but you're struggling with the thought of it. Okay. And I mean, females, the same thing. You're in school. I remembered when I was in school, I think I was brilliant for the first semester or so with money. After the first semester, I became terrible with money. I wasn't managing money at all. As they gave me money, I blow it within 2 weeks. And the remaining 2 weeks now, I'm eating, as we used to say then, a 010 or something like that, because I don't have enough money to eat as I normally should, to eat my 3 square meals. So, and that was because I was careless. There are girls that are also the same in school. And then when you start putting yourself in a situation whereby, oh, today this person is giving you money for this person is giving you money for that, whether it be a he or a she, She's giving you clothes, she's giving you this, she's giving it, and you're taking them all the time. I'm not saying it's compulsory, it happens this way, but there may be a time when they will now ask you for a favor. And you may struggle with doing that favor for them. You may struggle with it. So this is also a very, very important thing, okay? You avoid people, you avoid places, you avoid things. It's not everything you take. You know, there are sometimes you just have to, you know, thank you very much, but this is too big. I can't take it. Why? Because I can't. You have to. No, I don't have to. Okay, and you leave it like that and cut it short. That way, if you're not taking all the time, if you are asked to do something you're not comfortable with, it's easier for you. It's easier for you not to feel guilty for not taking these things. So I've said avoidance. I need to go back one thing again when it comes to avoidance. You avoid problems also by behaving in certain ways. I have had situations, yes, when I've been robbed. And when I look at those situations, I failed. I failed in the principle of avoidance or awareness. I failed. I see it clearly now. You know, once you fail, then you're in a mess. And you now have to decide on your own how you're going to handle that messy situation. But there's situations like that. My head's in the clouds. I'm not concentrating. I'm gisting with my friend. My windows are